we're going to give you the top 5 reasons people pass on Denver or the reasons that they're moving out. Let's get after it right now. Guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim Campman, your host for Everything Denver, Colorado, where we talk about all things Denver real estate. When you're thinking of a move here, hit me up at the information on the screen. Call, text, or email. I got your back on all things Denver real estate. Item number 1. These are the reasons people are leaving Colorado or not choosing to move here in the first place. I did a video just earlier this week about the top 5 reasons that people find Denver attractive, but today we're going to go the opposite and give you kind of the 5 cons of Denver. So number 1 is rising cost of living. Guys, the cost of living in Denver and in Colorado as a whole has gone up over the last decade, and it continues to seem to rise, and really hard to tell like where home prices will peak out. So since 2010, we've seen a big influx of people move into the Denver metro area. 2022 is actually the first year that we saw more people move out of the state than into the state, but we do have so many people moving to this state every single year, and that has driven up not only home prices, but other cost of living things as well. The whole nation has suffered from the rising cost of inflation, and Denver has not been immune to that. Right now, the median home price in the Denver area, city of Denver, is right around $585,000 to $600,000 for a single family home. And that has risen a lot. Home prices since 2016 have gone up 50% right all the way across the Denver metro area, with kind of Denver and Boulder leading the way in terms of home prices that have been skyrocketing. There are times of the year when the median price for a home in Boulder is actually $1 million or just over $1 million. Now, not to say that you can't find a deal someplace, and there is good values to be found in pockets of the Denver metro area, but if you're going to live within the city of Denver and be really close to that downtown corridor where all of the action is, you're going to pay a heavy price for being there. Average rental prices right now are also very high, $1,900 a month for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment style living in the Denver area. So there are opportunities outside of Denver where you are going to find more value for your money. It might not be necessarily cheaper, but you're going to get probably a 2-bedroom or maybe even a 3-bedroom place to rent for that same cost. Now, not to just focus only on home prices, but other cost of living things have gone up as well. One we'll get to a little bit later in the taxes that are happening across the state, but everything else has gone up as well. Energy costs here are a little bit cheaper than some of the other places around the country, so that is a benefit where we actually beat out the national average. Same thing with health insurance. Since Colorado is a bit of a healthier state, we do see a reduction in some of the premiums here compared to some of the other states across the US. So rising cost of living, it's getting expensive to live here. That's a reason people are passing. Okay, item number 2, and this one definitely will be controversial, but it's the truth, and you guys deserve the truth when you come to this channel. But a reason people have decided to leave Denver or not choose Denver as the place to live and maybe move further out to the suburbs is that Denver is struggling with a homeless problem here in the city. They have a lot of transients around the city and different pockets, and the city has not found a solution yet to address that problem. And a lot of people have moved out from the city because they don't like the policies of the city of Denver. Denver and Boulder are some of the more left-leaning counties in the state, and you move out further from that into the suburbs, it's very mixed. You'll find about half blue, half red when it comes down. I know we're in the end of a political season here, but that's the way the breakdown of the whole city is. And then when you get into the further rural parts, less populated parts of the state, it's definitely a lot more right-leaning than left-leaning. So people have been leaving the inner city of Denver because of the homeless problem and safety concerns. Denver has been identified as a sanctuary city here in the US, so a lot of migrants have come here, and you guys have all seen the news stories, have brought in their own issues. Now, some of that has definitely been overblown, some of it is not as dramatic or drastic as the news makes it seem, but there is an element of people that are moving out of Denver or passing on altogether because they're leaving a place like Los Angeles that's dealing with a lot of homeless problems and a lot of things like that. They don't want to move into a city that's going to have the exact same problems of not being able to address some of those things. So transient population here in the Denver metro area is another reason people are skipping Denver. Okay, reason number 3 people are leaving Denver or skipping Denver altogether, and this ties into our cost of living, but we have had rising property taxes over the last 4 years. Now, Colorado as a whole state has been known for having lower property taxes than a lot of the country, lower than places like Texas, lower than California, and lower than a lot of states that surround us. So that has been a huge draw. And that's a a reason home prices have increased quite a bit here and we have not seen any pullback from those high prices is because property taxes have been so low. So when you're factoring in all of your monthly expenses and all of your mortgage expenses, property taxes and insurance play a big role in that. And thankfully, prior to the last couple of years, Colorado was very low on the property tax front, less than 1% in most cases. Now, if you're buying new construction, your property taxes are going to be higher. If you are buying somewhere where there are special taxing districts where they're raising money to fix roads and infrastructure and raise money for different things like that, yes, those property taxes are going to be higher. But if you're buying a resale home in an established neighborhood, your property taxes are usually lower than a lot of places around the country. That has unfortunately been changing with a lot of the new construction, new builds, as well as the increase in property values has made the property taxes jump up quite a bit. So actually forced some people to say, hey, you know, with my mortgage going up $300, $400, $500 a month because of the increase in property taxes and insurance, I just can't afford to live here anymore if my wages are not increasing as fast as these rising costs. A lot of real estate agents will tell you, hey, lock in that rate, your payment's not going to change for 30 years. Well, they're not factoring into the cost of the change in property taxes and the change and rise in insurance rates. So make sure that you're not buying a home that's at the very, very top of your budget where you're going to be on the razor's edge of being able to afford everything, because 2 or 3 years down the line when a new assessment comes through from the property tax assessor's office or your insurance rates raised because of a hailstorm or some other type of natural disaster rolling through, that can increase your rates and you could be in a dire situation if you're kind of on that razor's edge. That's why you got to reach out to me. I got your back on all things Denver real estate, and I'll be able to identify the different areas, whether that be maybe a floodplain zone or an area that's going to have higher insurance rates or higher property tax rates. I'll give you guys all that information. So schedule a call with me, either call, text, or email, and I can shoot you the link and we can set you up for success on your move to Denver. Okay, item number 4, people pass on moving here, or I wouldn't say this is a big reason people actually leave Denver because you already know this, but the public transportation system is not robust here compared to cities like Chicago or New York City. Only about 6% of the population actually utilize the public transportation system, so Colorado is very car dependent. If you're moving from a city that you do use the public transportation system a lot, you're probably going to be a little disappointed in the service that you're going to get here. There's not as much infrastructure built up for it right now, and it just doesn't run as good as some of those other cities where people utilize it on a day-to-day basis. Yes, if you need to get into Denver from one of the suburbs, you can usually take the bus or the train line that goes through, but it's going to take you a lot longer than if you just have your own car and you're able to drive yourself. Okay, and item number 5, and this is a reason people are leaving Denver and a lot of natives are choosing other states, is the overcrowdedness that they feel now. That Denver has just become so popular. It's not kind of the quiet country style cow town that it was 50 and 60 years ago, and it's become so overcrowded with people from other states moving in here because it is a great place to live and it's very beautiful and picturesque. So if you do enjoy the outdoors and stuff, if you go up on a weekend to the high country to do your mountain biking in the summer or hiking or the skiing and snowboarding, yeah, you're going to have to sit in traffic and deal with long lines. And if you're going up to the mountain areas to, view some of the fall foliage and you're going on one of the most popular weekends during that time, yes, you can sit in traffic for 2 to 3 hours sometimes, if not longer, because it is such a popular place to go and visit. Places like Maroon Bells, going out to Pikes Peak, going up to Mount Evans, some of these hotspot destinations can get really, really crowded, especially in some of the more prime times of year where the fall colors are changing or the ski season is starting. So a lot of people that have enjoyed Denver and Colorado as a whole over the years who might have been natives from the 80s and 90s have decided, it's just too crowded, so many people moving here, rising cost of living, it's time to find another place to live. And those are the top 5 reasons people have for either passing on Denver or moving out of Denver. So like and subscribe to this video, guys, if you found it helpful. If you're thinking of your move out to Denver, please hit me up at the information on the screen. Call, text, or email. I got your back on all things Denver real estate.